The Perth Racing Preview is where the Straight Up team finds you the winners, and here's the Straight Up team with their preview of Saturday racing from Ascot.
Yes, thank you, Trevor, and welcome along to McGinnity. He has made it in. Thank you very much for leaving the Christmas party and starring on Straight Up.
But, Brad, salutations.
Yeah, package had us worried.
He tends to.
Yeah.
That photo was quite incriminating.
Damning.
Yeah, damning.
Yeah, I didn't give permission to send that stuff over.
Right, we've got to clear some divvies up. First off, Albany and then Caulfield.
Yes. Sorry, Mark, I got distracted by that Retrovision text line, which is already getting a bit of traffic there. Albany race 4, 6, 2, 8 and 3. Magic Mikey for Jason Whiting, 490, 170. Beat 2 BC, 160. Third 8 High Precision, 410. The Quinella 1040 exacted 21. Trifecta 303.40. First 4, 6, 2, 8 and 3. 627.80. The double on a pair of sixes, 12.30. And the early quaddy 11, 7, 6 and 6, $777.20. No scratchings there at Albany. Race 6 at the Heath. At Caulfield, 110, 8 and 7. 1 Ruminate for Jayla Kennedy, riding plenty of winners, $462. Beat 10 Dangerous Liaisons at 3.30. Third 8 Gallon Prince, no third. The Quinella 1180 exacted 22.60. Trifecta 61. First 4, 110, 8 and 7, $165.30. Double on 5 and 1, $9, 369. The scratchings there. Race 6 at the Heath.
Thank you, Riley. Albany race number 5 is 8.5 off all WA races live and free on 7+ handicap over the 1100. 1 General Knowledge 310. 2 Secret Stones 11 into 7. 3 Big Cities is 950 to 750. Number 4 Hit the Jackpot is 5 to 360. Number 5 is Saucy Patra's $12 a drifter. 6 Our Girl Borum is 16 out the gate. 7 Nicky's Affair 12 to 13. Number 9 Doodah Ditty is 20 into 12, and 10 is Nutwood, 10 out to 16. Gee, there's some names in that one.
Gee, look at these two. Whoa.
Wow.
Plenty of red there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about Michael Heaton.
Big Redmond.
And
the Flying Frenchman.
He does look a Frenchman today, doesn't he? Very French. Matty French. Right. Better have a look Caulfield too. Race 7. This is over the 1,200 metres in 22 minutes. 1 Tacito is 6. 3 Altruist is 34. 4 My Temptation 280. 5 Paroy 650. 6 Takiko 440. 7 Explosive Thinker 950. 8 from Pantherland 21 and 9 Plaza is $6.50. Get your text in 0427 789 571. No Barbaro Butchers Quaddy. Don't send them in because they're just going to the abyss. What do we got?
Been down there a few times, have you?
This is current residential address. I'm keeping.
No, we do love hearing from our man Dutchy. Dutchy's in nice and early, and I know he's abroad at the moment, Dutch. So he's certainly he's abroad.
Oh, I
yes,
thought you thought him abroad.
Afternoon, boys. Dutchy here, messaging in live from the motherland in Amsterdam. I'm assuming Brad was here last Wednesday at about 6 p.m. when prices went up. Lucky for him, Sunlit Fresco wanted a hot dog handed to him from the outside rail. Otherwise, we might not be able to hear the show over McGinnity shaking the tin for some coins.
Oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Got the overs at least.
Many did. Did it pay? Does that pay anything?
No,
unfortunately
Dutchy
not.
may have sent me a photo from the Dubai KFC. It's intriguing. He said it's one for the black book, so
really
noted.
You'd have to add it to the tour.
The 7+ Sport Gold Rush over the 1,400 worth $1.5 million. What are we thinking about holistically? The meeting, rail back to true, weather forecast, sort of back to about a 25, isn't it?
Yep. Excited about the good even fields.
I like the meeting. I think there's some nice bets to be had on the weekend. A little bit more up and about than I was last week, and last week wasn't too bad. So onwards and upwards, Mark, after a couple of pretty tough weeks leading in.
I reckon Paddy Hannon would be happy with that beard of Ryan Hills. It is an absolute blitzer, isn't it? It's got a bit of strength about it.
It's been groomed, hasn't it?
Did you like it when it was a bit more unkempt?
I'm an each way man.
Now, the great Greg Ells texts in, and he reckons that Chris Parnham is going to fill his boots starting on Saturday now that Willie is out for 6 to 8 weeks. Watch this space.
Wow.
Now, I know we were having a little chat off air, us gentlemen, regarding certain jockeys and track patterns and whatnot. And one of the things I have picked up, and I know most of them probably do it to an extent, but the one thing I have always picked up going to a few of these more regional tracks and also at Ascot is that the one jockey you know is always there before the first, walking the track, and particularly in the home straight, is Chris Parnham. Every single time without fail.
Indeed. Great focus on the task by doing stuff like that. It's those 1%ers that make him one of the best.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. So on Saturday, 28 degrees, cloud clearing, looking 15 to 25 kilometres an hour. They are southwesterly, becoming light during the evening. So your thoughts there, being you described Ascot as a wind track earlier on?
Yeah, that's my opinion, Mart.
Yes, so what does that wind got to do with the pattern of racing on the day?
Well, it seems to me that if it's got a southerly or westerly tinge to it, then you probably prefer to be maybe off the fence, and rail position can be inconclusive in that scenario. But and it seems when the easterly's in, it seems to be an on-pace sort of track.
Did it surprise you at all that they've gone back to the true for this meeting, given there has been some very, I would say, prominent queries around how the fence plays when the rail does go back to the true?
Interesting, isn't it? There's always been that well-publicised sort of 1 metre section, hasn't there, where they've always said it was a bit dicey because maybe it was different turf or something like that. But last time they raced at the true, I thought the true section played every bit as well as the 3 or 4 metre section, which tells me that any perceived bias was probably wind-related on that day.
Yep.
It's very easy for an analyst to say nothing won on the fence that day, as some are saying, but for mine, that's a touch lazy. We look a bit harder, and how many leaders did we expect to win on that day? So on that day, King Cartel led, gave a great kick, got caught in the line. Bruce Almighty breezed first up at 1200 in an unsuitable race and got beaten a length in the Lestier. Zipaway was good on the rails. Magnificent Andy had to be hunted through on the rails and was very good. And then the last race, Sowar and Thorogood both kicked through on the rails, and they both beaten less than a length, and they were both at huge prices. My follow-up question to that would be, has some of the way these races have been run on these certain days, these farcical tempos and really slowly run races, Brad, do you think those examples have exacerbated this topic of conversation, this track pattern and the biases that we've seen over the course of the season? Do you think that some of those races that do really stick out with how slowly they were run because of potentially jockeys erring on the side of I don't want to take my horse to the front or lead because it's going to be a disadvantage to my horse's winning chances, do you think that's played a part in this conversation we've been having for seemingly the last 5 or 6 weeks? 100%. So what are we saying this perceived bias costs your horse? A half a length or a length or whatever it may be? That's the sort of margin that's pretty easily made up if you ride your horse to its strengths and not overreact or alter your tactics due to a perceived bias.
Okay, so the best jockey to buck that trend of perceived bias won't be riding for 6 to 8 weeks here is William Pike, because he will say, I don't care if they think the fence is off, I'll go up there and have a look. Every time you interview him on a day where there is a perceived track pattern, he says you ride your horse to its main strengths and you do the best with what's presented to you. Yep.
He's always been big on he wants to be in the right flow area, in the right spot for his horse, and worry about the rest later.
Let's get into the racing preview for Ascot on Saturday. Race number 1 is the Tab Touch. Have you got the touch plate? It is over the 1,400 metres. And time to go 12.33. The first, Bondi Bay, is 12 out to 16. King Hit 5 into 460. Shaney Bay 12 into 8. Caporetto 14 to 19. What's the point? 5 out to 6. Number 6 is Ranix 12, 17, back to 13. 7 Earthstorm 280, 320, 260. Black Aura's 550 to 650. And Mavis Myrtles 51 to 61.
It's a delayed meerkat there. I love it.
For Caporetto? For Shaney Bay?
Absolutely. Yep. Pro Keen early had 1,000 places there at the 320. Well played. Black Aura, 1,000 places at the 215. This is one of the better supported horses in WA whenever it goes around, Black Aura. 4 or 5, 250 win bets there, Black Aura. King Hit Pro Money 500 at the $5. Rannick's local pro money each way there as market mechanisms took that price out, so each way at the $17. And plenty of Earthstorm money building up their rolls too.
Yes, tricky little start to the day. Earthstorm would now, you'd have to consider her one of the better credentialed maidens in WA racing at the moment, Brad, with her resume, or as we say, love to say, body of work. But, she brings the A1 form, I think, through the Listia. She was very good behind Cashel Palace on that occasion. I thought the way she got to the line was terrific. She's had a few chances now, so she is, I guess, testing the patience of those that have been following her. But this does look a very suitable race for her on the weekend. I don't know. I'm just a little bit uneasy with how this race is going to be run and what sort of setup she's going to get from that potentially sticky little barrier. I think there's some other nice horses here who could potentially improve as well, Brad. So the $2.60 is probably not a bet for me with her in the first, although I will put her on top. What's the point? Looks very raw but progressive for Luke Fernie. Broke through last start, clearing out on the chasing pack with the second horse, Northern Diamond, who looks a nice staying type of filly in the making, and thought that he would roll forward into another very prominent position here on speed, either leading or sitting outside the lead. And then you go back to his first public appearance, a 1,000-metre trial win back in September, and he comfortably took care of Exceed the Planet, and who looks, who, as we know, is along with Earthstorm, one of those very credentialed still maiden 3-year-olds, and Wrexham, who looks a horse with ability as well. And you go down the page, you've got Ranix, who was a good run last start, thinking that race might prove a handy little form reference to 100%. Brad, 3 wide, no cover. Shane Bay, really nice horse, trialled well, could win this fresh without surprise, although I do think he's going to be a horse, just looking at his breeding, is going to be better suited once he gets out over a mile and potentially even further. And King Hit just had to do all the bullocking work in that WA Guinea, so you could forgive him for that performance as well. But you probably just worry about how much that sort of run does take out of him now that he is getting deeper into his second campaign.
Yeah, find one you like and back it. It's one of those races where I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if any of them won all at various contrasting stages of their preps. We don't know the progression or peak of so many of these horses, and even your 60-1 pops only been beaten 3 lengths by Goldmaker, who's a more than handy horse in a horse race. So make a case for a lot of them, Mark.
Yep, you certainly could. What's happened to Bondi Bay as a horse? I know it was flying along and then it went up in class and things haven't worked out for it. I see they've taken, blinkers off, winkers again. What was the trial like?
Fine for me.
It was okay. I just think it's been a very indifferent preparation. He's gone sort of kicked off over the 1,000. I'm not sure that suited him, and since then he's drawn some bad barriers, and maybe for me, Marty, doesn't go as good on top of the ground. A horse that perhaps appreciates getting his toe in.
And one more I want to ask you about is Ranix. Geez, it was a good run last start at Pinjarra, caught 3 deep, as you said, but I love the way it knuckled down in the last 100 metres.
And wasn't it? And I agree with you, Riley, 100%. That could be a very nice form race going forward.
I think it will. It already has proven to be, with Cosmic Spirit coming out and winning at Albany earlier today. So that's already held up as a form reference, Mark. And that was the hunch we had leading into the weekend already.
Now, no tips for you?
Not for me, no.
Shorty?
The Mauler.
Yeah, the Mauler's weighed in here, and he's gone race 1, number 5. What's the point?
Don't mind that.
For Luke Fernie, the Bull Point.
I like this horse.
There are rumours going around he may put in a performance there tomorrow at the Brook. The Mauler.
The Mauler. Well, he's weighed in on the text line as well. He says, boys, Clint Johnson-Porter's going to give Chris Parnham a run for his money while Willie's out, riding very well at the moment. Beautiful, beautiful work. Thanks, Bradley. Yes. Love your work. Yep. Bit of a team going to the Brook tomorrow. Howard the Gabe, the world-famous French chef. Howard will be officiating on the Sunday morning with the bacon and egg burgers. The little Welshman from France.
One Final Siren is our top of the market for the Bisley Workwear handicap over the 1,000 metres. Time to go at 1:08. No doubt Baylor will love getting this horse back at the track. 3:30. It opened up 2.90. It's now $3. Snow Prince, 12.13 into 11. Bopping Blue, 6.50 into 4.40. That's a nice little move. Lexington's, how are yours? 13 into 11. Talk it up, 9.13. Rock This Town is 18, 19, 17. Bonnie Lad, 5.58.50. Capray Omnia is 7 out to 11. And Oracle Sun can get this 10 into 8.
Yeah, that mythical double-headed meerkat makes an appearance in race 2. They haven't gone halves in these two either. They've given them a nice smacking through the covers, Mart. Oracle Sun, let's start with that $1,000 place bet at the $2.90 early. 300 wins, another 300 wins at $9.50 and $8. Another 200 wins at $8. Bopping Blue, 700 each way at the $6.50. 500 by 600 at $5.50 and $1.80. Plenty of $200 bets there as well. Bopping Blue. Friendless at this stage, Final Siren. Rock This Town, a little bit of money there too. But yeah, it's just those two. Oracle Sun, Bopping Blue. Both bad results for us.
Yeah, Final Siren has, I guess, the best form on the table heading into his run on resumption. 2 from 2. First up, he was a 66-plus winner. First up last campaign, defeated Ginnivan on a couple of occasions, who then went on to win 3 on the bounce. He's a proper horse, isn't he, this bloke? He's high cruising speed, 1,000-metre horse, can burn the candle at both ends and just travels so strongly in his races. I don't know, this race just grazed me up a little bit, Brad, in terms of a setup with this horse, apprentice jockey, race with high pressure, there's plenty of speed engaged. Not always the most sure thing out of the barriers. He has shown a tendency at times to step awkwardly from the machines as well. Trial was good, slick time. I'm excited to have him back at the races, and I hope he wins for the team and for Beck, because she's training incredibly well at the moment, and don't think this is an overly strong 66 plus, but I don't know, some of those races sometimes, Brad, where the horse is the clear standout from a form perspective, but the setup just makes you feel a bit uneasy. That's how I sort of feel a bit about this horse. But if he pings the lids and gets to the front, good luck catching him.
Yeah, one of those races that looks on paper, we talk about this a million times, haven't we, Rolls? It looks on paper to have heaps of speed. Who knows how that's actually going to transpire. But looking at maybe a swooperish type, like a Bonnie Lad Fresh or something like that, to possibly run over the top of them. But
yeah, I'm happy to have an each way play here, Mart, with Oracle Sun having his second start in WA for Dylan Bairstow, who was his debut run for the camp. It was an incredible replay run. Bombed the start by 3 or 4, tacked onto the back of the field, travelled up in behind them with absolutely nowhere to go, went to the line untested, and it wasn't a day they were making any ground up whatsoever. It was a very much on-speed day there at Bunbury. And going into that race, was down there on the coverage for that occasion, said that he's on figures from when he was racing over East, Marty, his best would be more than good enough if Dylan Bairstow had him forward enough on that day, which he certainly did. He was a good thing beaten. And I think those figures, looking at them and comparing them to these horses as well, they would still very much measure up. You get Clint Johnston-Porter on board here, a cleaner getaway, hopefully. And if there is any improvement left in this horse, I think he's the one I could entertain as an each-way play around the favourite here. I think he could be a really nice sprinting type for the team. So Oracle Sun, an each-way play for me in race number 2.
Race 2, number 9, each way, currently about $8 for Riley Morgan. Need to clear up some divs here at Albany. Race number 5 was 4-3-1-2, the jackpot. Victoria Corva, 4-10-190, Big Cities, $3. General Knowledge, 130. Quinella 12.20, exacta 30.90. Trifecta 83.10. The first 4-3-1-2. 383.80, 6 and 4, the double 17.80. Number 8 is scratching, and that is Albany race 5. We're 3 off the Caulfield, the Heath, and 4 My Temptation 3.20. Paroy is 6.50. Takiko is 3.50. Explosive Thinker 7. Plaza 8.50, and up the top, Tacito is $8.50. Let's do the prices for race number 3, and that is the Mrs. Max handicap over the 1,200 metres. See how we go. And at number 1 is Kripalenko, $10 from $6.50. 2, Resonator, 51 into 31. 3, Twain's Angel is $2.80. 2.90, 2.60. Bozoom is 8, out to 16, back to 15. Son of the Boss, they trade as high as $13 here, back into $8.50. Good specking at the odds. Keep Attacking, 3.30, 3.10. Miss Flirtatious is 8 out to 9.50. Paddy's Flying is 21 to 23. Thomas Magnum, $15.
Mart,
Yes.
the Eastern States pros gone out wide early with one Resonator each way at the
Wow.
big price.
Got the 51s.
They did. They did indeed.
Cleaned it up.
And the 41s,
Yeah, polished it.
the 34s.
Said, we're going in again.
With polish. Son of the Boss, as you alluded to, whilst you looked firmly in my direction, Mart. Eastern States pros very keen it too, but the
Not
local
Lockie
pros,
money?
No, not 4am hippie club text message money.
No.
Local pros keen at Keep Attacking, Mart. The 700, 500, 600, 500, and the money is finally starting to come for Twain's Angel there, 500 of the 260.
Righto, let's get into this next event. Race number 3, the Mrs. Max. We've had a look at the pricing with McGinnity. Let's fire away, Rolls.
Bradley, question for you. What did you make of the run last week of Twain's Angel, your current favourite?
I thought she should have won. I thought she's a bit stiff. I like to work through the line. It's very hard to make up ground, isn't it, on those hard tracks? And she sort of got stopped and had to start again. I liked her run. You disagree?
Yeah, to an extent. I just thought once she was able to extricate off heels, she just got to the line. She didn't really have that change-up speed that I was expecting her to show. I thought, hang on a minute, once they turned for home, I thought, if she can get out here, she's going to win. But she just sort of ground her way to the line behind the two horses in front of her in Celestial Storm and Divine Belief, who's a very sharp 1,000-metre sprinting mare. So it's certainly not bad heels to be finishing on in that regard. It's her first time on the backup. I think 1,200 metres is going to suit her better. It does look to be a fair bit of speed drawn underneath her in this race as well. Gets the senior jockey back aboard in Chris Parnham. That's a huge positive. I'm just a bit cautious about where she might end up from the barrier. And also just how, I don't know, how she's come back this campaign. She has had excuses at stages as well in her 3 runs to date, particularly first up. Then struck that race in the Jungle Mist where they were all in the barriers for about 20 minutes, and that wouldn't have helped anyone really. I just don't know. I just found her another horse at the head of the market who I just don't really want to dive in at the $2.60, Brad, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
One horse I do want to make mention of, which has been a huge drifter since markets went up. For that camp, I was happy to take on in race number 2. Bozoom for Rebecca Bayliss. Could not have trialled any better. That was a proper trial. Gets in with the 54.5 kilos after the claim. There's a bit of a sticky gate for Luke Campbell to navigate here, but I could absolutely see him running a massive race fresh. He was the first up 70-plus winner down in Albany last campaign. He traditionally does very good work first up when he brings that freshness to the races. I think at the $16 you could do far worse and have a small each-way ticket on him.
I know Percy, the place punters, texted in and said that's his place special for the day, Bozoom.
Great to hear from Percy.
He's back, yep. And there's been sightings of the little man too. There's a rumour going around he could be on the train out to Ellenbrook.
Magnificent.
The little man.
Little Peng.
Probably got me covered by about
I was supposed to not say just in case certain people are listening.
Yeah, we got a text about the Peng and the Peng sighting a bit earlier in the week, but I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I can unfurl that one to the listeners on live radio. Where the Peng was spotted is quite damning, as you referred to it earlier, Mart. Very damning.
The market's spitting out Kripalenko a bit, isn't it?
It is.
1,200 a concern?
Possibly. Getting a price to find out.
The run before was a beauty, wasn't it? The Colonel Reeves?
Oh, and
from memory.
Form before that, impeccable.
3 back was really good. Prince of Wales, great run.
Was it? Yeah. Can you tell me the disparity in the betting between Keep Attacking and Miss Flirtatious?
Probably more the writings on the wall type of run for keep attacking, whereas Miss Flirtation's very good, honest on pacer, but
gets a weight swing.
Weight swing of 3.
Set up.
Yeah. Gets that weight swing. And it does look a nice setup for keep attacking.
Yep.
But that's just been the story of his campaign, hasn't it? He just keeps attacking the line and finding one or two better on the day. He finds a bit of bad luck in his races. He doesn't have a great deal of early speed. There is still that lingering query if he does end up back on the fence from barrier 2 where the inside is the place to be with the rail and the true. So I can understand why he's very popular in betting, but he's a tricky one to line up for mine. He's so consistent, but he just has been struggling to win of late.
It's the sort of race where Mart finds one for us.
I'm Bo Zoom. I'm siding with it the place. Miss Flirtatious reminds me of you when you're a single man going to those nightclubs. You always tried your hardest, but there was a bit of bad luck involved, wasn't it? Just leaving at 4 a.m, kicking the can, having a look around, is anything else open?
Bad luck, lack of class. Yeah, one or the other.
Ran out of money. Race 4, the MCA Polytrack Handicap. It's over 1,400 metres devoted. 5 out to 750. Rockin' Rupert, 310 to 370. The Boss Lady, how impressive last night. 280 to 275. Chevelle de Vegas, 31. Cold Shizzle, 34 to 26. Sisu Warriors, 41 to 23. Hell I Am, 12 into 7. Falcon Trader, 16 into 11. Bruce Almighty, 13, 15, 14. And Super Session, 11 to 13. So they've specced a few big odds here, McGinnity.
They really have. This is a nice little backup race for the Gold Rush. So this is going to be called the Munamek going forward. Looking forward to this, and this cracking lineup. And the betting's interesting because they've sort of gone against the faves and just snipping away at these roughies. Hell I Am, Eastern States Pro's very keen. A couple of $300 bets there. Some each-way activity there as well. There's been some Super Session each-way money. There's been Cold Shizzle, Sisu Warrior each-way money. Falcon Trader, local pro money there each way at the $16. And the Boss Lady rank and file money is starting to pile up. So Rockin' Rupert and Devoted pretty much friendless rolls. Yeah,
great race. Really competitive edition of the Munamek. Looking forward to the inaugural on the weekend. Yeah, the Boss Lady is your starting point of how big she was, grabbing them late in the Jungle Dawn. She was a bit slow out again. But in saying that, Brad, it's not exactly an easy... Obviously, that win was at listed level, black type level, but it's not an easy race to drop back into from a ratings perspective with the depth of this field, and she does have to carry an extra 3.5 kilos at the weights, and she has carried weight previously. Her first up run with the 60 over the 1,000 was an incredibly good run, so I don't think the weight's going to bother her one bit. It's more just where she lands in running. It's going to be crucial to her winning chances in terms of which horses are positioned up around her. It's I've just found this one another really open race, and you've got horses like Falcon Trader. I didn't mind him at the odds last start. He got posted deep with the 60.5 kilos, was never a factor. Senior jockey goes on, drops some big weight here, finds a race without much genuine speed engaged at all to roll forward and even find the top. There's a bit to like about that setup for him. Bruce Almighty, I thought, might slide to the breeze. Could give some cheek back to 1,400 metres on the back up out of a really fast run mile last week. I like that platform back to a 1,400 metre race. Then you've got horses like Rockin' Rupert, who wouldn't have been impossible to run top 4 or 5 in a Gold Rush off the back of how he's been going. Does have to lug the 60.5, and the 1,400 metres does remain a question mark, Brad, with him, but he's absolutely airborne at the moment and brings a very different form line to the Boss Lady, which many would say is far superior as well in terms of the opposition he's been racing against. Yeah, I certainly didn't think there'd be as much between them in the market at this stage as there is, so probably leaning towards Rupert at the prices, because the way I looked at the race, I wanted to be on one of those two favourites and probably just going with whichever one's the biggest price, but yeah, on personal market, I did have the Boss Lady favourite. Just love the way she's come back. She's just not asking for any favours. She's just got a wicked turn of foot, and she just has... The only thing she's doing wrong this prep is she's missing the kick by a length every time. Yeah, and just one as well, just quickly with Devoted, just reading between the lines, they intended to ride this horse positively had he not knuckled out of the barriers there, first up in the Carbine Club. So I just get the sense with Braden Garth booked, claiming the 2 kilos, if he was to leave the barriers a lot cleaner, we could see a horse like Devoted push forward and try and inject some speed into this race and find a position over the speed, which I know most speed maps will have him somewhere at the back of the field from barrier 10. I just thought he might be a horse we could see press forward to try and find the breeze.
Okay, no bets, you guys?
Not for me, no.
Jeez, I was on Rock and Rupert mad in the Winterbottom.
You have to stick fat
I'm
there.
entitled to follow up, aren't I?
100%.
Yeah, geez, he's racing well. My goodness.
Just that Belmont season just seemed to have turned the corner. Get a few wins together, get a bit of confidence, and different horse.
Okay, on to race number 5, the PKF Perth Handicap over the 1800. This is time to go 8 past 3-1 power and Profit and Power. 360 out to 460. Border Force is 750 out to 850. 5 down, 26. They did trade 31 back to 26. Red Dwarf is 18 out to 26. Stormageddon 10 out to 12. Central Force 7 into $4.20. 7 Kings Parade is 21. 8 for All Eyes is 31. 9 War Matters 480 to 440. El Unique is 26. Lynn Hyphen is 17. God's Garden is 19. Misintention, Spect in 101 to 61. Pagey's Turn is 51 and Sketter at 61.
Yes, Mart, as you alluded to, Central Force, Eastern States pros and local pros, both keen, so had their feel early, including 400 at 7, 500 at 5. War Matters, plenty of pretty sharp money there, including 500 at the 480. Interesting, a bit of chipping away at El Unique at the big price there as well. That's pretty much it.
Okay, we are up to the PK of Perth Handicap. We've been through the markets. So what are your thoughts here, Riley?
Pretty keen here, Marty, to butter up with Profit and Power up to the 1,800 metres off a really dominant Class 3 victory at Belmont last start over the mile and a bit. 1,800 metres will be no issue for this horse. He posted a really strong time figure in victory there last start. He's just going to roll across from that wide draw and either lead or sit in the breeze. My only slight concern will be if he gets caught in the role of towing the field up to 5 down, if they employ similar tactics to last start, which I doubt they will given the beaten margin on that occasion, but I'm more than happy if he gets to the breeze outside 5 down, and thought he'd prove very hard to get past sliding into the race from the 600 metres from that position. We know he can sustain that high cruising speed, and with queries on a number of dangers and where they're going to end up in the run and how far back they are going to get, I thought it looked a really nice race for Profit and Power to put another win on the board. So with the one, pretty keen, Mart, one of the better bets on the program for me, Profit and Power. I think War Matters is the main danger. They were both War Matters and Central Force, who's your favourite, were both very good behind Rocking Society in that same race last start. I've got a slight lean to War Matters with that map advantage from barrier 3 opposed to Central Force drawn in 12, and just one out wide as well, Mart, I think can run a big race. So there's a couple out wide that I think can run big races. Firstly, God's Garden got to the line well. I thought got to the line late, I should say, very well in a 72 plus 1800 last start, which has produced Playhouse Patron and Kisses from Kelly, and they were both behind Royal Toronado. So that's proven to be a pretty hot form race for an 1800 metre 72 plus. Back in class to a 60 here, carries the same weight. Does draw wide, but I thought with some luck in running and a cart into it, could absolutely run a race at the big odds. So I thought God's Garden could run a race. And I know, Brad, you think that the 11, Lean Hyphen, may have turned a corner off the back of her now being able to put a couple of wins in a line pretty impressively too. Yeah,
obviously a really sticky gate for it, but it looks like it's turned the corner, this horse. So sectionally was quite impressive. And also just putting gaps on fields. So it'll take a bit of a ride, but certainly worth. We'll be getting a bit of mine at that
really
high double, sort of $17 type, 18, 20s, whatever. And yeah, agree with you about God's Garden as well, Riles. It makes a bit of sense. It's not one I'll be backing, but it definitely makes sense. And Profit and Power's over my price, so it's another one. So yeah, probably back the toppy there. and have another bet each way, lean hyphen.
Pretty impressive that midweek when we watched it win, wasn't it? Profit and Power took your eye, and you've been waiting for this race. I think you had a bit to do with the programming, did you? You and Locke?
Nothing to do. That's all Lockie. But I did say to Lockie, when this horse finds a race where it can lead next start, I will be on, and that was the case. And what also added to the strength of that win, Marty, was you go and look at the figures and the time that they ran, and this horse is absolutely airborne.
So the Jack Jumpers 78 are leading the Breakers 63. Game to come. Melbourne United are playing Illawarra Hawks. That is tomorrow. I think there's another one tonight. Yeah, Brisbane are playing the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. That'll be on at 5:30 our time tonight.
Just a couple off the Retrovision text line. Greg L with War Matters to turn the tables. The barrier is a big help. The big danger for mine there, Greg, but keen profit and power myself. Good afternoon, boys. My Broken Hill punt on Saturday, getting in nice and early.
Yes.
Nice and early. I like it. Is Triple Missile in the Gold Rush. So there's a bit of value there for sure. We'll get to this question from Rick a bit later on. Rick, I haven't missed you. We'll answer your question when we get to the feature, the Gold Rush, a little bit later on. And the Duff.
The Dubster.
The Dubster. It was nice to see Riley finally tip a winner last week. Heard some horrible rumours that the package was looking at benching him for yours truly.
Oh, gee.
Last week for the Dup, as he is off to the Bahamas following McGinnity going up 7 Central Force. Boy, oh boy, Merry Christmas. But I bumped into the Peng too as well, boys. He was driving his new white van in the 40 zones.
Wow. Yeah, he's got very short legs. Can't get the accelerator down much further than that.
You can fit more shopping in there, Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
In those big vans, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And the Pommy Pie. Oxbridge, like a free candy shop at 15 to 1. Thank you, boys.
Jimmy Pommy Pie.
Jimmy boy. Just goes bang. Easy game, isn't it, Jimmy? Easy game.
Now, what's happened to the Mauler? He's gone race 3, number 6, keep attacking. Race 4, number 1, Devoted. Race 5, number 1, Profit and Power. We'll lead with you, Mauler, here. Race 6, number 13, Papavero Princess. Right, let's have a look at this one. Before we do, we better clear up those divs on Oxbridge too. What a win that was. They looked to be flying at him.
I thought they were flying, and the horses just kept kicking.
They can do that in Albany, can't they?
Huge drifter in betting too.
Yep.
For Chanel Cooper, 14.90, 4.70, beat 3, Evelina, good run. First up for Michael Lane's stable, $1.40. Third was 6, Mockadreen at $1.20. The Quinella 17 exacta, $54.80. Trifecta, $179.70. The first 4, 1,369, $1,022.70. Double and 4 and 1, $65.60. There were no scratchings. Race 6 at Albany.
Okay, race 8 at the Heath. It's only 6 off the Tile Importer handicap over the 1800. 1's Commander Harry at 8. 7 Royal Hard Hat, $7.50. Number 4 Pure Grunt, $4.20. 5 Soul Seater is $8. 7 is Retorn at 6. 8 Blooming Edge, $41. 9 is Ampere at 11. And 10 Hawkins. Expected to be hard to beat Mark Hunter like this. 4.20 into 3.20. Cool Hand Luke Curry on board. He'll be riding here on Saturday. So let's hop into this race. Race number 6, which is the first leg of the quad. No longer sponsored by Barbaro Butchers, but 1 Little Silver, 21 to 22. Blue Lagoon is $14. 3 Galaxy Affair, $15. Madam Magic is 18 into 11. They've had a little crack at this. My Jimmy is $9.50 to $9. Kalima, 6 out to 8. Romming Danger, 14, 17, back to 14. 8 Ton of Grunt, 8 out to 14. 9 El Patron, 14 to 16. 10 Our Rocky Bay has been 12 into 9. 11 Plays with Fire, out to 31. 12 Calora's 41. Papavero Princess, $8 into 6. Hide the Oreos, 126. Red Tory is 10 into 8. And Beljourney, the unlucky runner last start, is $12.
Yes, Beljourney early. There's been a couple of 200 each way type bets there at the $12. Our Rocky Bay, local pro money there, a couple hundred each way at the $12. Red Tory, local pro, 300 at the $9. And 500 places at the $2.90. Papavero Princess, 500 each way, the $8. Kalima 500 at the 650. Madar Magic, local pro money there, 500 places at the 475. A smaller win component to that bet as well. And a little bit of snipping your horse, Mart. Robbing Danger.
Mm-hmm. No, I haven't forgot it. Robbing.
How did you go pricing this one up, Bradley?
Sometimes the dartboard jobs are easier.
Yeah.
Because
Not
we're all
wrong.
just guessing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a bit going on here. Very open race, clearly. $6 a field. Papaviro Princess, who off her first up win probably warrants, or would go close to warranting favouritism in this. It was a very impressive performance. She trialled up super leading into that. I've got no doubt in my mind, Brad, that she's a Saturday horse and with the right run could absolutely repeat the dose here, but this does have a bit more depth than her last start victory or first up win at Pinjarra, and she has drawn very wide again, so she does need a little bit to go her way and a bit of luck in running, but no reason why she can't win again. I was big on my Jimmy heading towards that Grandstand Cup first up off how he trialled. It was just too good a trial to ignore. And I know he's always been a horse that traditionally runs his best races second up when he's got that run under the belt. But I thought he was a huge run in defeat in that Grandstand Cup. He drew wide, he travelled up wide throughout, and then somehow managed to get himself held up in behind runners when he was bolting in the straight as well. It was just a really, really ugly watch from start to finish, and I thought to get as close as he did at the finish was a good effort. 2 from 2, second up career record. He's unbeaten. Clearly that's a big tick. Back to 1,400 metres is no concern for me. The concern for me is barrier 1. I think that's probably, and being back on the fence, big field, doesn't look to be a great deal of genuine tempo engaged, which I could be wrong in that regard, but it just looked a sticky little setup for him. I love the jockey change with Kalima. I don't think there's anyone riding better at the moment than Lucy Fiore. For me, that's a huge tick from a riding change. Another horribly luckless run last start, which is becoming a worrying trend for this horse. But drawn far better here, barrier 5. I'm going to say, Brad, that if Lucy can't get her clear galloping room when she needs it, I don't think anyone's going to be able to. She's just one of those horses who finds bad luck. And she's the one I could entertain on an each-way basis or one of the horses I could entertain as a bet here in a wide open field. Kalima, people are probably going to pop me for saying you keep tipping this horse each way and she just keeps being held up the entire length of the straight, but that's the way I'm going to go. And Red Tory, who it seems as though Brad Parnham's hopped off my Jimmy to ride this horse. She hit the line in the best last 400, best last 200 of the meeting first up, and always takes a run, much like my Jimmy, to come on. Drawn wide, but she'll just look for that cart in that 3-4 wide moving line, and up to 1,400 metres second up is a big tick as well. So the two I'm probably looking at, Kalima, Red Tory, pending prices for some small plays in race 6, but not overly keen to get involved here. I thought it was a wide open race, Brad. Yeah,
sort of race where you could fight a few. I'm with you, actually. Rolls Kalima, I think it's 10. There's enough of a price around the traps for me to be getting involved each way, like the setup, etc. All good. That'll get me. And if it's unlucky again, well, I can only blame myself because that is how the horse tends to.
Here.
I will quickly say one thing about the money ton of Grunt last start. It's one of the biggest stands we've had that I can remember. So obviously this horse is going pretty well. So don't jump off it.
Okay. So just mopping up the Key Clean handicap first leg of the quad.
Very good, Mart.
Pick that up, mate. Did you want to go in the book with yours or not?
No.
Okay. We'll go to race number 7, the second leg of...
I will. Thanks for asking.
Yep, good. What were yours again?
Kalima.
Is Kalima your Kalima?
His is in the book, though.
Tab Touch, Starstruck Classic. It's over the 1,600 metres. And let's get the fluctuations up, courtesy of Tab Touch. 1 Own the Queen, 550 to 480. Yonga Lass, 6 out to 650. Rusty Dreams, 11 to 14. Go Bella, 41.61 back to 51. Amber Gliders, 14 to 16 to 14. Antique Miss, 5 out to 6. Bon Joy, 343.10. Miss Sky High, 6 to 650. I Love Your Smiles, 41. Done with the Blues is 19 to 21. Not a lot of action here in the Starstroke.
No. Well, there has been, but the market's quite settled, Mart. Rolls, keep an eye on that phone, that Retrovision text line, because I think Butchie might be sending through a declaration
Really?
very soon for you.
Right.
Oh, you just got to assume it's coming, don't you?
The
Bonjoy 800 at the 310. Own the Queen. Ooh, fair dinkum. 7 or 8 bets of $2, $3, $4, $500 at the 550, 500, 480, 460. Own the Queen. I might need to loan the chamois and wash people's cars for a job next week if this gets up. That's probably our worst result of the day so far, Mart. Miss Sky High, good each way support there as well. A couple of 300 each way bets. Bit of younger money, but not the sort I'm expecting.
No. Yeah, good race. Really good race. Bonjoy looks the one for me. Off a run in the Jungle Dawn. Massive. Drew widest, ridden for luck, back to the inside, had to change lanes and duck back to the inside of horses to get into the race and wasn't allowed that flowing run like your boss lady was out wide. I think if Clint Johnson Porter can land her in the first half in running from the barrier and off the fence, then she's going to hold the aces on a horse like Own the Queen, who's going to be back into her inside from barrier 1. I'm sure the camp would have preferred any other barrier in this field than 1, but that's what she's come up with. Stable's in some really good form. I just thought that was just such a big first up run. I just wanted to be with her next start into this race up to 1,600 metres. I think she's the best bet of the day for me. Bonjoy for Jason Miller. I've got huge respect for Own the Queen with how big she was on resumption, and that's been a strong form race that she comes through as well. You just worry a fraction maybe of such a good return from a long layoff. She may be entitled to a bit of a flatter run second up. As mentioned, barrier 1's also not ideal for her. I didn't think being hemmed away in a race, it doesn't look as though there's genuine speed engaged. It's probably another good question, Brad. Who leads this race? There isn't a lot of speed, is there?
Gee, this is a messy setup, isn't it? It's, real tough one to decipher.
It's a messy setup, but I just thought if Clint Johnson Porter could keep Bonjoy out of any trouble from barrier 3, it was too good a first up run to ignore. So not going to overcomplicate it and going to butter up, and had something on her at the price first up, and I think she's very well placed to run well out to the mile second up as well.
Completely agree, especially coming off that major setback and running so well. That's so impressive, isn't it? And yeah, I'm with you. Price has been trickled away nationally, unfortunately, but
could be some money. Some other money horses in this field late.
Has been some snipping out wide horses. Even horses like Amber Gleday tend to get their support. Rusty Dreams was a nice run last start. There's a few backed horses, so yeah, some chance. But that's going in the book for you, Rolls.
Bonjoy.
Yep.
Bonjoy for me.
Only 310.
Yep.
Best bet. Riley Morgan. Okay, let's keep pushing on here. We come up to the big one of the day. This is 7+ Sport Gold Rush, Group 3, 1,400 metres.
You're listening to TAB Radio, Racing and Sport. Take TAB Radio wherever you go by listening on the Tab Touch app.
The rush for gold is underway. The big mare Carly's Karma second. The Astrologist now comes on. Comfort Me down the outside. Getting up on the inside, Valana, Red Can Man, and Kiss on All Four Cheeks is digging in. Further back, This'll Test Ya. The Astrologist hit the front. Comfort Me, the danger. The Astrologist, and now here comes Kiss on All Four Cheeks. She's diving. I don't know if she made it. I think the Astrologist might have just clinched it. Maybe it's the Astrologist.
The horse has been super the whole time. Couldn't be happier with him, and just keeps fighting and fighting and fighting, and Pike read him an absolute treat today.
One word for you, Willie, flow.
That's right. We've been lacking a lot of that this carnival, I feel. Maybe that's just sour grapes because I haven't been winning as many as I want. Today he was back to being that dude. He just couldn't care less. He cruised around and he just did everything perfect.
As they'd set sail for the judge, and Munamek is trying to weave his way through the field. Red Can Man took Sava to excel. Ayrton under pressure. Comfort Me. Oliver's getting through with Munamek. Ripcord's coming down the outside. Comfort Me. Ripcord. It's Ripcord. Ripcord, and now Munamek. Munamek has got there. Oliver's got the run. The racing gods have spoken. It's gold, gold, gold at Ascot. Ollie goes out a winner in the rush.
Well, I couldn't think of a better way to finish it. You're right, it was death or glory at the top of the straight, but I knew this horse, I had a bit of confidence in this horse. He can take the gaps when they come, and Nick Ryan did a great job with him. I just had to point him in the right direction. When the gaps came, he worked his way through them well, and it was a great win, but an unbelievable feeling, and I couldn't think of a better way to finish it off.
Well, there you have it. The boys have been hard at work. Good on you, Mace. Good work there. The Gold Rush, the history. Let's have a look at the betting this year. Western Empire, well, he was all the rage until the barrier draw, 350 out to 480. Valor Roads, 23. Comfort Me is 8 out to a 12, back into 11. Bustler, 18 into 11. Red Can Man is 81. Hot Z, 26, 31, 23. Ripcord, 19 out to $23. Magnificent Andy, 11 into 950. Triple Missile, 26 to 31. Zip Away, 20 out to 23, back into 17. Mojo Rhythm racing so well, 34, 41 into 26. Rope Them In, 850 into 850 out to 12. Aztec Rulers, 21, 31. Super Smink, 550, 480. Search and Rocks, 21, 26 into 20. Wind in the Lion is $21 best bet into $15.
400 Wind in the Line at the $15. 1,000 Western Empire at the 440. 1,000 Western Empire at the 460. Or add some bank interest to it, champions. Go again. Bustler. The Busselmeister. Gee, there's been a bit of a good local pro money. There's a couple keen, couple of 500 each way type bets there. And that Super Smink money always seems to come, and it's there again.
Rick from Rossmoyne says, hey boys, no pike tax this week. Is Western Empire still a good chance at the more suitable 1,400 metres? The Gold Rush is a tough race.
Concur. I reckon there's about 2 or 3 lengths between these rolls, personally.
I don't think you're far off. Yeah, this has been... I think most of the people listening will have understood by this stage that everyone who's spoken about this race this week in the lead up has virtually said they've got no idea. And I echo those sentiments. Very tricky race. Western Empire, for me, this has been his grand final all along, and this was always going to be the race that he was most suited to. I thought he was unbelievably good first up in the Colonel Reeves when he was very well backed over the 1,100 metres, held up, barrier 1 didn't suit, only beaten under a length by Rope Them In, who was able to get that, what we speak of, that flowing run into the race. And then inconclusive, still don't think he was at his very best, but inconclusive with a bit of traffic to navigate in the Winterbottom. Third up now, Wait for Age, 1,400 metres. Barrier, a slight concern, as is losing Pike, but Billy Egan's a more than capable jockey, and think if he can land this horse in that 3-wide moving line on the right back, carting him into the race, Mart, I don't think that's going to be a horrible place to be for this horse who appreciates galloping room and appreciates being able to wind up and build his momentum into the race. So I can understand why people are winding him out in their own markets. In terms of the Pike factor, you lose the best jockey here in WA, and the barrier makes things even more tricky. But I still think with the right track into the race and flowing run into the race, he's still a massive winning chance, Western Empire.
For mine, also the fact that he's a tricky horse to ride, Mart. Western Empire, he can get keen, he can do things wrong, and I think we as a punting fraternity have so much faith in William in those situations. But I've got to respect that Grant and Alana are Hall of Famers and grand final trainers, and this was the race all along, so you've got to respect that. But yeah, the more I look at this race, it's just there's just not a lot between so many of these horses, and you can go through all the form lines and all the way through for the last 6 months and confirm that.
Zach from Burswood. G'day, champions. Spelled CHUMP. Rope Them In just wins for mine. Can't wait for the post-race. In the running line, flowing from gate 19. No worries from Shooter McGrady. Cheers, boys. Just J-Dub. I love the J-Dub from barrier 20.
Yeah, J-Dub.
That's good. I like that. That's the sort of confidence we need, not the confidence that I have leading into this one.
Right. Had a look at the betting, and we were discussing the big one, the 7+ Sport Gold Rush over the 1400 rolls.
Yeah, we had a chat about Western Empire's chances and how the race sets up for him. Super Smink, we know, on the backup from the Northerly. She just got absolutely no luck there. For mine, Brad, the big question for me, back to 1400 metres, which I think is probably her pet distance, where she's done her best work in her career to date, is can she utilise that barrier? Because she wasn't able to last week when we thought that she'd finally drawn a barrier where she was going to be able to hold up in a position in the first half of the field, which was going to heavily assist her chances in that race, but she wasn't able to utilise it. Can she do that this week?
Yeah, and so many horses looking to be in a similar spot as well, aren't there? So, yeah, for a big field, it's got a pretty light pace profile, in my opinion, Rob.
Has it really?
It does. Certainly does. As we work down the page here, Magnificent Andy's got huge claims. Big thing for me with him was I haven't liked how he's been leaving the barriers this campaign. He's been really slow away, and then he was back to his best self from the machines last start in the railway. He sprung the lids really well from barrier 1. So I think if he can repeat that back to 1400 metres, barrier 4, he's going to lob in a beautiful spot in running. Not overly concerned about the bars going on. He won a Hannon's wearing the bars. He's won before that occasion as well wearing the bars too, Marty. So it's clearly not a massive hindrance for him as a racehorse. I think he's got great claims, particularly each way claims with the run that he's going to get from barrier 4. Comfort Me, not helped by the barrier that he's drawn, but gee, he's going well. And if Holly Watson can get him across to the breeze or the front even without having to do as much work as what we might think, I think he's going to be very hard to beat. I think at the moment he's the way if I had to pick one to have a bet on as it currently sits, it would be Comfort Me each way for me, Mart.
Really?
And the way the market sits at the moment, having done a bit more of a... There's just no speed profile in this race, and I'm not sure where it comes from. Valor Road, I think, will go forward and try and get across the field from barrier 12. I could see maybe Search and Rocks kicking up and trying to find a similar spot, but I think ultimately Holly's going to get to the breeze with this horse, who you could say was very unlucky in the Railway Stakes. You could mount a genuine case that he goes very close to winning that race with better luck in running. And I just like how this race, in a race where there's so many map queries and where horses are going to end up in the run, I just think you know what you're going to get from this horse who's already placed in this race on 2 previous occasions as well.
Similar thought process, Ros. We all could, back or tip 15 horses probably in this race, but for me, Search and Rocks, hoping it can sneak across into a soft spot. Love the 1400 for it. Love the way it's going, and I don't think the gate's as bad as it looks for that horse, because even if you have to do a tiny little bit of work early, at least you've got Comfort Me drawn outside you to hopefully give you some cover, or you've got Valor Road drawn out there as well that should be heading forward, and I just can't see that much else heading forward. And in these 1400 metre high quality races, I think you'd rather be up there in the firing line.
I could see, and when we say heading forward, I think it's important to say heading forward with real intent, with genuine intent to sit in the first 3 or 4, because there are going to be horses, as you mentioned, like Super Smink, who are going to be intent on hopefully holding a position in the front half of the field from their barriers, but there isn't going to be intent there to lead or take up the running or sit in the first 4. So I just, you know what you're going to get from a horse like Comfort Me. That's why I'm drawn to him at the double figures. Know that he does find it hard to win, but I don't hate the setup even from the barrier for him. So I'm hoping Comfort Me gets a much deserved win in one of our carnival features, Mart.
Certainly would be. What about this very lightly raced 3-year-old Wind and the Lion?
I am a big query on that 3-year-old form in the races that he comes through. I'm not sure how strong it is.
Yeah, also the last run was, for mine, a touch plain as well. So, with Riley there, that's one that I have a much bigger price than
me too. Me too. Hot Zed, huge in the Winterbottom. What a run. Barrier 1, no surprise to see him finish into the money once again. He's just an old marvel. Ripcord's trial was outstanding. Bit of a fly in the ointment horse potentially with Luke. We had a chat to Luke on the radio earlier in the week, and he was of the belief that if he begins well, they're going to chance their arm and try and get across with him, which would generate maybe something different that not many people have expected or planned for from a speed map perspective. But he did look back to his best in that recent trial. But good horses like him should trial like that, shouldn't they, Brad?
That's a very good point.
They should trial that well. And then,
Gotta respect this money for Bustler Rolls. This formula's worked for the horse in the past. It was a huge run in the same race.
And the Lustia as well was huge. Just grabbed late by Casino 17. Going super, Bustler. There's going to be people very keen to be with him on an each-way basis as well. What are you laughing at? Go on.
Oh, Matt from Canavan. Matt from Canavan. He's been sending stuff in here. Wants me to throw out a best. I'll be going with Mojo Rhythm. I like the money. This is a horse. He's intriguing, this horse. He's run... he seems to run his best races against the best opposition. He's one of those type of horses, and he went into a couple of those races and you thought, wow, after winning the Peters, what's he going to do in the Railway? Drew 11 and has beaten 1.4, then he goes to the Northerly and gets beat 2.5, both big runs. So 18 back to 14 gives him a chance to sort of half fresh him, easy week.
On that premise, you'd have to give Triple Missile half a chance as well at the big odds.
Who was it? Jim Pommy Pie? Was it? Or someone's tipped it?
Someone's tipped it. Yeah, someone's tipped it. We had someone texting. I think it was actually Benny from Bunbury texting on Drive earlier this week and said this horse shouldn't be in the field. I said,
"Hey, Triple."
Yeah, I said these last two runs have been super.
Yeah, he's come back good this campaign, hasn't he? Okay, no tips for anyone in that race? It's too hard, isn't it?
It's too hard.
How's the hold? Are they betting into the race?
There's enough, yeah. There's enough going on.
There's never enough. There's only one thing better than money, and you know that. That's more money.
Yeah. For those that are playing...
Greed is good.
Playing at home, who wins?
Western Empire would be my on-topper from a tipping perspective, but the value for me would be Magnificent Andy and the 3 Comfort Me at $11.
Searchin' rock smart.
Yeah, well, we didn't mention Searchin', did we?
I spoke about it for 2 minutes, but that's fine.
Lockie's very keen on it, but it has been unlucky. You've got to admit that. Swan Draft handicap, the last Swan Draft. What a drink. 1,500 metres.
We'll be having a few of those tomorrow, Mart.
Might have found a couple last night. I don't know. I might have stumbled over a few. 1 Heskett, 13. 2 Count the Sessions is 850. 3 Lord Ganigas, 12. 4 Laquetta's Gift, 34 to 21. Snippy Witch, 8. Into 460. They leave the best to last. Sawar, 11, 12, 10.
Some call it So War, Martin. That's right.
Yarralaya is 850 after opening up at 6. And Atlantis Beach, 9 out to 13. 9 is Benji's, 51. Harbin is 14. Noteworthy, 12. The Spruker, 650. They did bet 850. Manhattan Strip, 15. Miss Rock Joy is 31. Spec'd in from 51. Stylax, 101. Tiff's Lad, 71.
Mart.
Yes.
Snippy Witch.
Yep. What happened there?
They, market mechanisms, really. A couple of Eastern States pros have stepped in at the 550 and 480.
Merging.
No one really took the bigger prices. None of the local pros, they had about 12 hours. And no one was keen.
That's Christmas.
So 500 at the 550, 500 at the 480, the Spruker, 400 at the 850, Manhattan Strip, 350 each way at the $14. Count the Szechuans, 300 each way and 200 each way there. Yarralea, yeah, I get that. 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. And Laquetta's Gift local pro keen each way at the big price early. Ross.
Just one quickly off the text line for the Gold Rush. Is Mojo Rhythm a better handicap horse?
Well, it ran all right at Wait for Age in the Northerly, didn't it?
I was going to say I thought so until how good he was last start in the Northerly. Clearly didn't have any hindrance on him there. So, Perhaps not, but would be better suited under those conditions.
Obviously.
Yeah. But moving on to the Swan Draft, 2-bet play for me to round out the day, Mark.
Okay.
Little 2-bet play.
Yep.
Have to butter up with the Spruker off just how big he was behind Miss Sky High last start. What a run that was from barrier 15. Just gives there isn't a great deal of pace in this race. It just gives the feel of a race that Southwest is in late in the afternoon. They're making a bit of ground. They pack up on the corner and it allows a horse with the right run to flow into it and finish over the top. I just thought that he had no right to finish off that race how he did, and just the manner in which he attacked the line. I thought, wow, I want to be on next start, or at least be following him into a suitable race. And while he has drawn wide again, I think this is it for him. He's drawn to stay out of trouble. So the Spruikers one, I'm hoping to be on in the last, and Yarra Lee, even though the barrier people will knock that, she's flying. She travelled into that race last start, same race. Like, had she got out, she would have burst through and won.
Yep.
So I just love how she's returned this campaign, and they're the two for me, Brad, that I thought could really run big races and rattle over the top, potentially blouse them. In the last, I've got big respect for Count the Sessions, who experienced a few issues getting clear in the straight once again, very typical of him. Last start, Flynn Johnson Porter knows him very well, but he's also got that middle of the line draw, which you'd almost prefer him draw right out, because he's a horse that does need some luck in running with his racing pattern. So I just prefer the fact that the Spruker and Yarra Lee are drawn out and he's drawn sort of a good barrier, because he's a horse that will get back in running regardless and might just become that meat in the sandwich and have to try and find a run between horses. One runner of note I did want to mention is Harbin for Donna Reardon, who gets some big weight relief on a number of horses here from the Grandstand Cup at Pinjarra last start, and it's just shown signs that his past couple, that while he's been a very difficult horse to catch over the journey, Marty, as you know, that he's probably as good as Donna Reardon could have him, I think, at the moment, and that he's pushing like his next win isn't far away. So he's one to watch out wide. And I think Heskett can run a race as well for Dylan Bairstow. I think from the barrier, not a lot of speed, will work over into a prominent position. Slight query on the gap between runs, but just couldn't draw a barrier. Was nominated numerous times and was drawing the absolute car park. Loved the recent trial back down there at Larkhill behind Valor Road. He's clearly going very well. I think if he gets a soft enough map from that barrier, he's going to run a big race in the last as well. But Yarra Lee and the Spruker are the two I'm hoping to be on to round out the day.
Just Yarra Lee for me, Mark.
Just Yarra Lee for you. What about Noteworthy? Any chance of there?
Going well, building nicely.
Good run in the Grandstand Cup, I thought.
Can absolutely make a case, yeah.
Okay. Right, let's get your best over there.
We're starting slow. So race 5, Profit and Power. That price is enough, and Leon Hyphen will be getting me at that almost 20-1 range. Race 6, Kalima at $8 plus. Race 7, Bonjoy. Race 8, Search and Rocks. Race 9, Yarra Lee.
Just let Mark finish off over there.
Yeah. Searching Rocks.
You're laughing at your phone again. You're getting You're keeping some text messages from the punters.
No, I'm not. I was actually, as I was starting to write down McGettity's bets, I just remembered all those bets you had last week. How'd you end up? You had about 19 bets.
Yeah, there was a winner and a few place getters in there.
Well,
that's all right.
Something.
Did you end up in front?
Personally, no.
No. Anyway.
Wasn't much in it, but...
It's only money. So,
due to have a losing week, Martin.
Oh, I love it. Where's that little trumpet button?
Yeah, it's there somewhere, the old trumpet. Here we go. Give it one.
There it is.
Oracle Sun. You're going to kick it off with Oracle for Big Dill Bairstow.
Big DB.
Were you talking to him the other day? Did I?
Yes, I was.
He just dropped into a conversation. He was great, wasn't he?
He's always good, Big DB. Made his 7+ debut last week as well down at Albany.
Overshadowed Big Red. He made Big Red look like one of the jocks out there, didn't he? Geez, how big is this man?
He did mention though that when you are in for quite the size of the man that he is, he says he doesn't like the heat.
No, he would have sweated up. He tipped 6 from 7 or something, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, put on a show.
Handy.
Should have multied them all up. Race 2, number 9, Oracle Sun, each way for me. Race 3, small each way play, number 4, Bozoom for Rebecca Bayliss, who I thought trialled the house down. Race 5, number 1, Profit and Power, one of the better bets on the program, I think. Race 7, number 7, Bonjoy is the best bet on the program for me in the Starstruck Classic. Then rounding out the day in the last with the Spruker, race 9, number 12 and number 7, Yarra Lee for me, Marty.
Now, Bradford Maylands has texted and said, have you gotten the Maulers tips for Saturday? Yet, so we'd got to race 6, number 13. So race 7, number 8, Miss Sky High. Race 8, number 1, Western Empire. Race 9, numbers 1, Heskett and 10, Harbin. That is from the Mauler. Every chance he could be poking his head up tomorrow at the Brook, out there at Allenbrook. I know you are. Mm-hmm. No, Riles. Is it Pinjarra, Royal Pinjarra?
Pinge.
Is it Pinge? But I tell you who we have got is Britt Taylor.
Wow.
And it's going to be great to have...
Lahos as well?
Yeah, they're all there, yes.
Magnificent.
Stephanie Bakranich is going to be there as well. So it's a bit of a ladies...
Tim Walker.
Tim, but no diggers.
No diggers. Package will be there.
Package. I'm like Santa Claus there tomorrow. Not only have I got 5 $100 tab touchies, I've got 10 $20 and 2 Barbaros at 100 each. Oof. Just giving it away like confetti. I'll be like that one.
I've seen you strike that pose before, Mark. Will you have the Santa suit on?
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, putting on the big red tunic. Oh, pillow down the front.
Can I be the first one to sit on your lap?
You're small enough. You're the right size.
Someone off the text line here. The Pommy Pie. Where are the drinks tomorrow? The Brook.
At the Brook.
The Ellenbrook.
Come along, Jimmy.
Get down, Jimmy boy.
Come along and make yourself known to the team. I got to say, our regulars that listen to this program that go to these shows are cleaning up. Greg Al, all of the team, Blackie, they just walk out with $100 vouchers every Friday. And they're onto it.
They certainly are.
So be a part of it.
Walk out with as many as you do, Mark.
Mate, they're all counted for. They're all accounted for.
Well,
Pete, the package, he drip feeds them to me one by one.
They've got one of the all-time TAB setups in there at the Brook.
They've got a super screen there, which is one of the clearest I think I've ever seen. Brand new. You should... Amazing. See the jocks changing their mind.
Just around the corner from you.
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes away, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're a bit unlucky. We had a star-studded team, and then, of course, that Pinjarra meeting was transferred to Friday, and everyone obviously was going out there. Peter Morley was going to be part of the team. Wouldn't he have stirred things up?
I was telling people around the studios in here, I said, I cannot wait to just dip the toes in at the Brook on Friday afternoon, and... No.
Off to Penny. Now, you better go back across Matagarup and rejoin the party over there.
Mm. And they might have moved on by now.
Yeah, they'll all be at the Camfield.
I'm not sure I want to be within kilometres of those lot at this stage.
All right, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks.
Been great.